Welcome everyone. I'm calling this meeting to order. Wanted to just remind people that any side conversations that you may have at the table absolutely get picked up. I just want to warn you that if there's any colorful commentary about the World Cup, about FIFA, that may be picked up, Mr. Bjornberg. So thank you so much for joining us today at Capitol Commons, and I really love this space, and I'm so glad that we can be here. I'm obsessed with the artwork that is everywhere across this building, and as the hub for our Vitality program we'll hear about later in the meeting. Just really looking forward to it and wanted to make sure that we gave it enough time. So thank you so much for coming in the middle of the summer to have this meeting today. And today's meeting is focused on two significant projects in the area, the Vitality program and the Rice Street reconstruction project. And both projects aim to transform the capital area, and just look forward to hearing about them more today in the board's discussion. So let's first start out here with doing a roll call. Ellen Anderson.
Present.
Michael Bjornberg.
Present.
Hannah Hills.
Present.
James McLean.
Present.
Melanie McMahon.
Present.
Representative Schultz.
Present.
Senator Pappas.
Here.
And I am here. And first on the agenda.
I'm not sure who KD is up there. No. Is that Senator?
Advisor Kimberly.
Oh, okay.
Excellent.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Senator Nelson? Is she on the list?
She is,
but I don't believe she is here yet. Let me give it a shot. Senator Nelson. Okay, I hope that she will join us a little later on. Yep. First on the agenda is the approval of today's agenda. Is there a motion to approve today's agenda?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Second.
Motioned and seconded. We have a first and second to approve the amended agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Agenda is approved, and now we can move on officially to the first agenda item. We've got approval of the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from June 4th, 2026?
I'll make that motion.
Excellent. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Excellent, the minutes are approved. Second item on the agenda is the introduction of the CAAP board right track interns. So I will hand that over to you, Executive Secretary.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So we've got the slide up there. I'm pleased to introduce our two right track interns that we're hosting this summer here at Capitol Commons, as well as the CAAP board. Right Track is a St. Paul program that links high school and university students with job opportunities in the St. Paul area, and we're hosting two interns this summer to help us at Capitol Vitality. So really great program. We're really happy to be part of it, and this is the first time CAAP board's been part of it, and Capitol Commons is a great place to have our first interns. And so I'm pleased to introduce Gao Hai Li Ki and Daniela Limo Hernandez, and they're both going to say a few things about what they're doing this summer. So go ahead, Gao.
Hello, my name is Gao Ki Yang, but I also go by Gao. I grew up here in St. Paul, and I am the office administrative intern through Right Track. I'm currently a college sophomore at the University of Minnesota Twin Cities. I was previously studying data science, but I'm currently studying user experience and user interface design, which the Capitol Architectural Area and Planning Board have been very helpful in just helping me learn more and explore design with social media postings and posters and flyers. I'm really glad that I can learn more about where I grew up and the things that Capitol Commons does, and just become part of what makes my community flourish.
Thank you, Gao. Go ahead, Daniela.
Good morning, my name is Daniela Lemos Hernandez, and this fall I'm going to be a senior at Highland Park Senior High. And after high school, I plan to attend college and major in either education or social work. This internship has been a really fun experience so far. I've been able to connect with the youth program. I've been doing a bunch of activities like going outside with them or bringing them in here and like doing video games or arts and crafts stuff with them. I've also been able to connect with the Ramsey County Sheriffs, which has been a really fun experience, and then the CAAP board. I'm looking forward to giving the CAAP board more event ideas and just having fun.
So thank you, Madam Chair and Board. We're really excited to have them, and we hope to host more Right Track interns next summer as well. And with that, I'll hand it back to you.
Sure, I would just say, Executive Secretary, thank you for your leadership here of, knowing that Right Track would be a good fit, especially with where we are now, working on Vitality. And to the two of you, thank you so much for your good work and being part of the CAAP board team, and just very excited. Gal, I am a gopher, so I'm excited that you go to you. Daniela, think about the University of Minnesota as an option, but we're just so grateful that you're here and part of the team. So thank you for your good work.
Thank you.
Thank you. One other thing, I just wanted to also thank Department of Administration. They've helped us with all the logistics with hiring and the time cards and getting paid and all of that, so we're really grateful for that.
Thank you to admin for sure. Getting paid and time cards are very important. That's so wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Also, former gopher. Father of three gophers.
And father to three gophers. Wonderful. I told my kiddo, I was like, are you gonna be a gopher or a cougar? Wonderful. So next up, we'll hear from Inspector Darren McDonald and Executive Secretary Cedar Leafdahl on the Capital Area Vitality Program. We're just really excited that we're able to give this the full attention that is needed. Just welcome and please proceed.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So I'm Eric Dahl, Executive Secretary, as you know, and we're going to give you an overview of Vitality. And we are trying to show a bunch of pictures in our slideshow up here. And if you've worked with PowerPoint before, you know it doesn't always work the best. So we hope it works. It worked last night, sort of working this morning. Hopefully you'll see all the pictures. But really happy to be working with Ramsey County Sheriff's Office and the opportunity that the legislature and the CAAP board provided with this, and to be working with Inspector McDonald. So go ahead and introduce yourself and then I'll jump in.
Awesome. Darren McDonald with Ramsey County Sheriff. Been law enforcement officer just about 20 years now. Happy to be here.
Great. So go to the next slide, please. So just to reorient everyone back to how this came about and why we're here today and why we're talking to you about the Capital Vitality Program. In 2023, the legislature created the Capital Area Vitality Account to fund programs that improve livability, safety, and economic health in the capital area, with spending tied to recommendations from the Community Vitality Task Force. And if you recall, we held a task force with CAAP board that lasted for approximately 6 months to a year potentially. I can't remember the exact amount, but we came up with recommendations and we tried to define vitality. We had several members of the board here on the Vitality Task Force, as well as business owners and residents, folks from the city, and it was a really great experience, and we learned a lot about what this community needs, and I think that was really helpful for us to not just top down make decisions for this community. So we put that report together. We made recommendations as a board. If you recall, we all went through that. That was really focused on livability, safety, and economic health, as well as like family and youth programming. We heard quite clearly we needed that. We needed more beautification in the area and ambassadorship, similar to like the downtown improvement district. And so we made that recommendation to the legislature. The legislature funded $3 million of the Vitality Program in 2025. And so then Ramsey County Sheriff's Office and CAAP board came to the board and gave our work plan in 2025, and we started work July 1st, 2025. Also in 2025, $1 million was appropriated to the St. Paul Port Authority to create an economic development grant program, providing $50,000 to $150,000 grants for businesses in the capital area to support equipment, facade improvements, capital upgrades. So this really creates this multi-partner coordinated effort to strengthen the area. Next slide, please. I'm going to give a brief overview of the CORE grant, which is the St. Paul Port Authority's grant for this area here that they're running, and we have the St. Paul Port Authority here today. Michael, if you have any questions, but I will do my best to give just an overview of it. Like I mentioned, $1 million from the state of Minnesota in the 2025 legislative session, $50,000 to $150,000 in qualifying grants, and funds are for capital improvements, so physical items. And then in 2026, the legislature also funded an additional $630,000 for grants in the capital area for businesses. And so that's a great opportunity for the economic health of the capital area, and we're really grateful for that. Next slide. So just to report on what we so far have had in a response in the core grant is we had round one from January to March 2026, and we had 14 applications requesting more than 1.6 million, so more than even the fund was allowed at that point. So we saw that we had a lot of need and we could only fund a certain amount. The applicants were from throughout the CAAP board, mostly concentrated along Rice Street and the St. Peter Street down in Fitzgerald Park. 4 grant applications were funded in the first round. One across the street here, the Friendly Grocery, right over here, and they've already done some improvements there, as well as down the street, the arcade, which I can't remember the name of the arcade. Parkade. It's called Parkade. And they have a bunch of pinball machines, and they're going to be doing some really cool improvements to the facade of the building. And then we're still working with the other 2 applicants, and I can't divulge their names at this time. But we're notifying everyone of that, and then the second round is currently open until August 31st, 2026. The Port Authority is working hard to check in with people, as our CAAP board in promotion, as well as Ramsey County Sheriff's Office as they go around telling business owners, contacting business owners. And then we will be working with the Port Authority, really it's their jurisdiction, but to figure out how we do the next round using that $630,000. So that's kind of an update on the core. If there's any questions, I or Michael are available, and I'll move to the next slide. So now I'm going to just talk about the Capital Vitality Program as a whole, and some of my what I've noticed so far in working with 2 groups that have not worked together before, CAAP Board and Ramsey County Sheriff's Office. Darren's going to go into more detail when he presents kind of all of the findings, but what we're seeing so far is there's already a change in a crime reduction in the area. We're already seeing improved perceptions of safety. There's a coordinated kind of public safety and outreach, so it's not just arresting folks, there's a lot of relationships being built, and people are coming here to this space knowing that it's a resource. It's data driven, so we've gotten data from the St. Paul Police Department, and appreciate that, as well as Ramsey County's tracking all of their connections to folks in the community, as well as what we're seeing for crime. We've got a lot of relationships that are being built, strong partnerships in a lot of the conversations, and Darren will talk about those specifically as he goes through it. We're seeing great collaboration across public and private sector, and it's really this consistent community engagement approach that we're using here in the Vitality Program. We also continue to listen. We don't know all the answers, and we're trying to be nimble and responsive, so we're really having lots of conversations with community and business owners to really be able to respond and have community-informed investments here. We're still working on expanding our programming and activation of this space as well as around the CAAP board area. And we also, CAAP board, for the first time, is really going up and down and throughout the CAAP board area and working on property safety, so looking at compliance with our zoning code and reaching out to business owners and property owners to make sure all the buildings are up to code, as well as Ramsey County Sheriff's Office in coordination with St. Paul Fire Department is making sure all the livability concerns are being taken care of. And then we're also working directly with business owners on repairs that we'll highlight in this presentation, if the video works, and doing a lot of beautification through art. We're in the process, we've already painted one mural, we're in the process of another mural across the street here at Friendly Grocery, and another mural at the St. Paul City School. And we're really excited. As those develop, you all will be part of that, and we'll let you know what they're going to look like. So I've talked enough, and I'm going to pass it to Darren here. Really appreciate the partnership we've had with CAAP Board, the city, with Ramsey County Sheriff's Office, with Metro Transit, who's also going to be here and talk a bit. We've had such great collaboration in this. It's really inspiring to be part of it, and I'm really I'm grateful for it. So go ahead, Darren.
Cool, thank you.
Go to the next slide.
Good morning, Madam Chair, board members, partners, and guests. Thank you for the opportunity to share some reflections on the first year of the Capital Area Vitality Program and where we see this work going in the future. Looking around Capitol Commons today and seeing the partnerships, the programming, and the activity, it would be easy to assume that there was a grand master plan behind this all from the beginning. The reality was much different. You know, when this started, we really just had some words on the paper. Realistically, I didn't have my whole team in place yet. I'd never worked with Eric, Peter, Jesse, or Ella before, or the CAAP board. And my own team was spread throughout the law enforcement center. We were all trying to figure out exactly what this assignment was going to become. We had funding, we had a work plan, and we had expectations. But we didn't have a roadmap sitting on a shelf somewhere telling us exactly how to do this work. We were building something new. Next slide. One of the first things we did was movie in the park up at Cass Gilbert Park. We had a great turnout, but honestly, that isn't what I remember most. What I remember is hearing kids laugh. Families were outside together, neighbors were connecting, and I remember driving home that night thinking, maybe we're on something. Then came our community kickoff. Following that event and our engagement throughout the 66 block area, I remember feeling two things at once: excitement and apprehension. There was excitement because clearly energy in the neighborhood and people genuinely wanted to engage with us. But there was also apprehension because I remember looking at the work plan and thinking, okay, public safety, I understand. But youth programming, beautification, economic vitality, community connections, how exactly does the sheriff's office do all this? It was ambitious, but we were going to figure it out. So we started meeting with partners in the area. We met our business owners, nonprofits, and we slowly started getting to know our residents and visitors throughout the Capitol Commons. Honestly, we probably listened more than we talked. One of the first things we kept hearing about was food insecurity. So we started Friday meals. What started as a meal became a lot more than just food. Some people came because they needed something to eat. Some came because they needed winter clothing. And some honestly just needed someone to talk to for a few moments. All of that mattered. Next slide. As the months went on though, I still felt like something was missing, that we needed to continue to grow. By the winter of 2025, my team and I had eyes on a vacant building at 546 Rice Street. Over many conversations with the owner, one theme continued to emerge: that challenges facing the corridor were beginning to impact local businesses and the people they served. Customers were hesitant to visit, business owners were struggling, and confidence in the neighborhood had eroded. All at the same time, we believed something different was possible. We shared a vision for creating a welcoming community space where residents could connect, services could be delivered, partnerships could grow, and people from all walks of life could feel they belonged. And just before Christmas, that vision became reality. We've reached an agreement on a 3-year lease, and our team rolled up their sleeves and got to work creating what you see here today. In February, we welcomed the community through our first open house here. By March and April, our doors were opening for activities, programs, partner engagements, and community gatherings. Slowly but surely, Capitol Commons stopped being an idea and started becoming a place where people gathered, connected, and found support. Next slide. It's also important to remember what else was happening during this time. There were roadblocks and questions from the beginning about law enforcement receiving this funding. Then, Metro surge occurred through the metropolitan area. For my team and I, that made it even more important to stay intentional about our work plan and our goals. We continued to show up, continued building relationships, and continued focusing on the work we said we were going to do. One of the things I reminded my team was that the word safety has the word safe in it. We want people to know that they can feel safe with us, safe asking questions, safe asking for help, safe sharing concerns, and safe walking through our doors. It is important to us that people saw us more than a law enforcement presence. We want to be warm and a friendly face and offer support when people needed it. Next slide. As Capitol Commons continued to grow, so did programming. Our Friday meals now serve around 200 meals on our Fridays. We're continuing to expand youth and family outreach, and we're finalizing partnerships to bring additional opportunities into the neighborhood. As activity and interest continue to grow, we also recognize the need to simply be open and available more often for the community. We now have regular open hours here, so residents, business owners, and visitors have an opportunity to stop in, ask questions, connect with resources, and simply spend time with us. Bless you. We have developed a strong relationship with St. Paul Parks and Rec and are hopeful to bring back our Corinne community nights that unfortunately had to be canceled last year due to safety concerns. We're also excited to strengthen connections with the senior population that gathers nearby on Fridays, also at Frogtown Rec, and explore additional opportunities to support healthy, aging, independence, and connection with the community. The philosophy has always been pretty simple. Brings resources to the neighborhood, and it's, instead of expecting neighborhood to come to the resources. Well, dry mouth. Next slide. Meetings. Yes, we've had a lot of meetings, but those meetings turned into relationships, and those relationships turned into partnerships. Quite honestly, one of the most rewarding things of this experience has been watching organizations that may have not traditionally worked together begin sitting around the same table trying to solve some problems. Are we going to solve homelessness? No. Are we going to solve the opioid? We're not. And are we going to solve every challenge facing these neighborhoods? Probably not, to be honest. But I do believe we can remove barriers, create opportunities, and make life a little better for people who live, work, and visit here. Next slide. We are especially grateful for the leadership of Metro Transit Police Chief Dotseth and his team as we continue working together through Operation Safe and Strong and alongside their homeless action team to create a safer, more secure, and more welcoming transit experience. In fact, just this past Monday, As I arrived to the Capitol Commons, there was a young couple sitting on the benches directly outside that had previously met members of the transit hack team and knew this was a place where they could routinely connect with services and support. That morning, I was able to connect them with Lieutenant Mohammed and the Metro Transit team to continue conversations around housing opportunities and next step. For me, that moment captured exactly what these partnerships are supposed to look like. People know where to go. They know who to ask for. They knew someone would show up to help them. At this point, I would like to invite Chief Dotsa and Lieutenant Mohammed.
Madam Chair, board members, good morning. I'm Joe Dotsa. I have the honor and privilege to serve as the Chief of Police at Metro Transit. Today joined by
Lieutenant CAAP Mohammed. I am a lieutenant with the Metro Transit Police Department under the Office of the Chief.
Welcome, we're so grateful to have you here.
So, Madam Chair and board members, when the executive director, our executive secretary, and the inspector reached out and told us about this project, we were all in immediately. We were all in immediately for a couple of reasons. I think the board certainly knows this, and maybe a lot of people are listening online or in the audience may or may not know this, but there is a direct correlation between the CAAP board and Metro Transit, right? So the CAAP board, as you know, right, connection to the governor's office and the GO and the lieutenant governor in that work. Well, Metro Transit is service to the Metropolitan Council, right? The Metropolitan Council is appointed by the governor and the chair is appointed by the governor. So that connection between the CAAP board and our organization, it's real, right? So I think that's very important, obviously be good partners. And then for me too, as the chief of police and all of the transit police, like we're so thankful for all the work that the governor does, the governor's office does, the lieutenant governor does to support us. Because of the work that we've had to transform the transit system over the last couple of years, that work doesn't happen alone. So I really appreciate the governor and I appreciate the lieutenant governor for all their work to make this and our organization better. It really matters. And so when you think about too how we police at Metro Transit, it is a little bit different, right? We're a specially used police department. Our primary focus is Metro Transit. That doesn't mean that we don't do general law enforcement. We certainly do, but we have two main tenets in how we police, right? Our first one is our whole community approach to public safety. That's this, right? That's all of us coming together, being at the table. You know, at Metro Transit, we implemented a safety security action plan a couple of years ago. It's in the 4th year. That changed the game on how we were policing the transit system. And it wasn't just the police. We have trip agents out there. We have supplemental security. Our law enforcement partners are out there with us as well. It's different, right? And meetings like this are really, really important to us. And besides the whole community approach to public safety, we police as a service. Yes, our transit officers are out there making arrests and issuing citations, but the vast majority of our work is service oriented. So I was just talking to Ellen on the way in and, you know, encouraging everybody to go to our social media page to see all the work that the transit cops are doing. Yes, they are arresting people. Yes, they're issuing citations, but they are making connections to community way more than they are issuing citations. So when the opportunity to partner at this agency, partner with the inspector and the executive secretary, it was just natural. It was going to work, right? So last summer we launched, that was the photo, I think it's up there still, of our University Avenue Safe and Strong initiative last summer. It was a really big deal, right? Because we needed to address issues along the corridor. And so we took a 3-pronged approach. We had a focused enforcement between ourselves, St. Paul Police, and the Sheriff's Office. And then really as the initiative went on, enforcement numbers went down because we were making more connections. So the second phase of that project, really using our homeless action team, which Lieutenant Mahal will talk about in a minute, and that work along with service providers in Ramsey County, Gloria Reyes and her team, everybody in Ramsey, that work matters, right? So when you see our homeless action team out at University Dale or downtown or anywhere in the metro, like we're connecting people to services. And so lots of times it's difficult, where are they going to go? So when this facility was going to open, now we have a place to go in headquarters. And you know, we started just stopping in. Like I'm here quite a bit. There's pictures of us up, like eating in the back. This is great. Like this is a big deal for us because now we have a place. Yes, the county had other places to go to, and that was important. But this is a different space. It's in community. It's open, so it's a big deal. And then the third part of University Avenue Safe and Strong was really how the prosecutors and the courts were going to work together. So I can't thank Ramsey County Attorney Choi enough for all the work that he did leading that initiative. So we made huge impact, much like the inspector said in his statements. You know, we haven't solved all the problems, and we've definitely made an impact. And this facility is going to help us continue that. This summer's University Avenue Safe and Strong looks a little bit different, right? It's a little smaller scale because the train's in much, much better condition, but we still want to be good partners, right? So at this time, I'll probably Lieutenant Mohammed talk about our Safe and Strong initiative this summer. And Lieutenant Mohammed's been in a temporary position as a lieutenant this Saturday, permanent lieutenant, so congratulations. And I'm excited to announce that in Lieutenant Mohammed's new role, she'll be the executive officer to the chief of police. So I appreciate all your work, and you can maybe share what we're doing this summer. So.
Yeah, thank you, Chief, and Madam Chair, board members, thanks for having us today. So as Chief mentioned, our homeless action team is really the center of our Safe and Strong initiative. This year looks a little bit different, where our officers are on board the system rather than at one station location. So they are providing services on the go, and we're encouraging our social work partners to be here at the resource center. So when we encounter somebody on the system, we're able to direct them to this facility. And as Inspector Darren said at McDonald, that even when we're not doing details of our Safe and Strong, we have people still coming here to request those resources. So the impact that we've been making and the word of mouth that's gone around through the community is clearly making an impact. We not only are partnering with our social worker partners, but as Chief mentioned, St. Paul Police Department has been really helpful. We have a list of individuals that we want to target that maybe target's not the right word, but give that more intensive care to, and partnering with St. Paul PD, ensuring that those people have the resources that they need, and working with the courts, whether they need to go to mental health court, drug court, or whatever they need to get them not only housed, because we provide our own housing voucher with the Metropolitan Council, but maybe get them into addiction services if that's what they need, the mental health piece, if they just need to get their benefits turned back on. And for the social workers to be on the system with their laptops in real time and getting people connected has really bridged that gap that we've noticed out there. So I think the work continues throughout the summer, and I'm hopeful that through the winter months that will, of course the need is there, but that partnership is going to be really important to continue on.
Thank you both.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Lieutenant, when people, when you direct folks here to seek services, how is that loop closed? Like, how do you know if they've gone through that process? And do you have any examples of like what that looks like in practice?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. That's a really good question. So we have a release of information that we have our clients sign, because of course with law enforcement and between social service agencies, we want to protect people's private and personal data. So that's the first way where we're able to reconnect with those social service agencies to ensure that after they've been connected to resources, what is the next step? What else do they need? How can we get them into long-term stable housing? And maybe it might not be our housing vouchers, but is there something else like tiny homes that we can get them connected to? I would say one example is the example Inspector McDonald brought of a young female that was right outside. She came in, signed a release of information, and also went to YouthLink in Minneapolis to get into a temporary shelter, but there was still that gap where she wasn't able to find people outside of those hours. So our officers are working until about 1 a.m. and are able to connect with her in the middle of the night to try to get her into somewhere. So I think just that continuous wraparound services is what's been important, and a little bit more hand-holding for our officers. But another piece is that we haven't had in a while. We will have a dedicated sergeant and 2 officers strictly to our HAT team, which we haven't had in quite some time, and that'll help with the wraparound services.
Wonderful. Well, that's exciting, and in another role, I chair the Interagency Council on Homelessness, and so I'm planting the seed that potentially at the next meeting I would love for folks to just share the same story, because I think it's powerful. So
Thank you.
We'll reach out and we'll hold a date in your calendar. But I think this is an important story to be told, and I think what people are looking for, right? Building those relationships, getting people the help and support that they need, and seeing that in action is really important. So thank you. Other questions? Yeah.
Chair, board members, I just follow from what Lieutenant Mohammed said. I think what makes the homeless action team a little bit bit different is we just do it. And so like, and we can wait. That's what made University Avenue Safe and Strong so successful last summer is we started doing stuff. And it's like, I get the role of law enforcement, embedded social workers, I understand all of that, and I totally support that, but our homeless action team have just really, under the leadership of then Chief Harrington, started that program. We just started doing stuff, and that's what Lieutenant Mohamed's team still continues to do. So lots of times those wraparound services, the head officers didn't call, they take calls all the time, 24 hours a day, and people are connecting with them, and I think that's what makes our team unique is they really care. They build these connections, and so it doesn't stop when they clock out at the end of the day and they're making those connections. And that really helps too. And so I just wanted to follow up on that.
Any other questions?
Just a comment. Sounds like it's a really nice success story. So I thank you for your leadership and your passion. It's really contagious. So it's admirable. Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Thank you both.
Thanks so much, Chief and Lieutenant.
Yep, next slide, please. Okay, as for early results, we continue proactive foot patrols through the capital neighborhoods and work closely with neighbors and businesses to identify concerns and opportunities for improvements. We are fortunate to have strong block clubs, including the Fitzgerald Neighborhood Alliance and the Capitol Heights Block Club, and it has been really encouraging to watch participation in both of these groups grow and more voices join the conversation. And our partnership with St. Paul City School led to the artwork hanging at Capitol Commons behind you. Their K through 12 charter school, their students painted that. That's their rendition of University Avenue. You can see the Capitol and Capitol Commons in it. And we have also completed cleanup efforts throughout the Capitol communities we serve, working alongside property owners, businesses, and residents to improve our shared spaces and demonstrate that these neighborhoods are worth investing in. One example was 531 Rice Street, which is just south of us here. The property had become associated with years of neighborhood concerns. Together we removed debris. We actually filled 2 complete dumpsters of just debris from the exterior of the property. Secured the building. They had broken windows on the outside of that. We boarded it up and we painted a mural on the boards that you can see just out there. I think we have a video. We'll be on the next slide that will show it. And what stayed with me wasn't the cleanup itself. It was actually watching neighbors and business owners come outside to thank the team. And in some cases, they were literally applauding the work being done by us. Not because we cleaned up a building, but because for the first time in a long time, they felt like somebody cared enough to show up and help improve the neighborhood. Next slide. Yep. And then we started seeing something honestly that got everyone's attention. The numbers started moving. Crime is down 68% during the first 4 months of 2026. 68%.
That's incredible.
It is incredible.
Yeah, congratulations, that's amazing.
For all of us who worked in and around these neighborhoods for years, that number gets your attention. Of course, there are a lot of factors that contribute to those numbers like that, and we certainly aren't claiming sole ownership of those numbers. But I do believe relationships matter, visibility matters, investment matters, and simply showing up every day matters. We're also seeing strong community engagement with more than 2,500 attendees participating in over 30 meal and outreach events between August 2025 in June of 2026, which tells me people are showing up, getting involved, and beginning to see that Capitol Commons as a place for connection, support, and community. Next slide.
All right, so I'll take over for a second here. This is our attempt. We're going to show you a video. We thought maybe you didn't want to just hear from us, but actually hear from some residents, some business owners, people that work in the area. So Jesse's going to switch over the audio here because it takes a second, and we're going to play the video. We put the closed caption on it because some of the folks are hard to hear, but it's about a 4.5 minute video, and we can just watch it, and it's fun to hear. And we just did this the other day. Marco Barton and the other deputies went out with their phones on the street and just started interviewing folks that they've talked to or just interacted with. And then we literally edited on phones as well. So that's what you can do now, and we're really excited to share it with you.
It's been a major difference, a 9-day difference. Me personally, just having you guys as a point of contact, and when I came and just to help out and take over, it felt like I was doing this all alone. And having you guys just being so cooperative, and especially, giving me your numbers and just being an easy point of contact is what the community's really needed. And I know that not only me, every other business has just been grateful, and it's been long overdue.
Do you feel like the community feels safer?
Yeah, it's really nice because you see more people being outside lately, and especially with all the community outreach you guys have been doing. I'm sure you guys have seen a big showing up by the community and everybody that participates. I feel that you guys have already made a huge change since since you guys have started, and for you guys to just pack up and leave, that would just undo a lot of good things that you guys have set in motion. And personally, I would not like to see that, because I think it starts with the community. And building the community also builds the economy, and it builds the Rice Street.
This is Miss Harry speaking. I've been in Minnesota since '91, and this area right here has changed a lot since last year. Last year, around here by this church right here, it was a nightmare. People out smoking, dragging, doing all kinds of stuff. Walking around, sitting up, laying on the stairs, and I've been calling the police. They died in the middle of the night calling, telling the police don't even get there, making a lot of noise and stuff. They've been changing myself.
I would say this is our neighborhood, and just generally, this is the neighborhood I work in. So knowing you guys are close makes me feel better going to work. From the time that I started until now, it's 100% different. And if you guys weren't around, I probably wouldn't want to be in the neighborhood as much as I am. I would want to go to a different store. The neighborhood, at least from what I've noticed, it does seem better. It seems better in this general area, and it's not been a great area for a long time.
And you remember a year ago now, almost to the day before we started this project and this program, and you remember what it was like. And I know I've heard you say before that
it's a completely different atmosphere. Just knowing, I don't know if it's just they know you're close or whatever, but we've gone from catching multiple people stealing a shift really, to maybe one or two, very rarely even that, on my shift, and I'm day shift, but I went from a shift to...
You said it was worse here than it was in Arizona.
Absolutely, not worse, but just to see the population how it was out of control. Man, I never think it'd be like that this far up here.
And specifically here on Rice Street.
Absolutely, especially Rice Street. Rice Street and Snelling, but Rice Street is more, now that I came back the second time, it's been more clear. The street works has been a lot better. People has been out the way a lot more than the usual, but that's what I can say now from when I came, since I've been there and been back.
And when you came back this time now, you're back here from Arizona.
Yes.
You said it's completely different than it was last year.
Open, too. A lot open. I say, not used to that at all. Not normally cluttery, a lot
cleaner.
of people, cleaner, safer. You can feel comfortable walking down Rice Street more than when it was when I came the last time I was here.
So what has it meant to us? Well, gardens have to be nurtured and planted. And so with the CAAP board and the Ramsey County Sheriff's efforts, They have been able to help us build many of our planters that are here. This is our community garden where over 200 people in this building come, share, can take vegetables. And so there would not be any sort of nurturing or growth of our community without it. Because I've lived 8 years downtown and I know what it's like to not have them here. And it's like a thirsty plant. With having this project in our neighborhood, it has started to grow, but it has to continue, hopefully beyond the grant period, because it has to continue to thrive. There are just so many opportunities that will be continuing in our community, and we will need the expertise and commitment to make sure that all of these neighborhoods that surround the Capitol become strong neighborhoods and strong links both to the Capitol and to our neighboring, in our case, the downtown communities.
Go on then.
Yeah, so this is not a prop. This is actually from our gardens that we planted just south of the building.
Oh yeah, we can pass it around if you want to look where. Yeah. So yeah, and then we also have gardens over at the school and up in the park behind the Capitol. And part of this is giving these away to the neighborhood too. So
This is the first time I've ever held a bowl of vegetables at
a meeting.
Very exciting.
Let's go to the next slide.
Next slide, please.
Thank you for watching our video.
So what have we learned? I think we've learned there's a real need for collaborative models that bring resources and services directly into the neighborhoods. We've learned that food, recreation, art, culture, and community gatherings are not extras or luxuries. They're often where relationships begin and trust gets built. And we've learned that public safety and community vitality are not competing ideas. They're partners. Communities move at the speed of relationships. Next slide. As I close, I want to begin thanking the members of the Ramsey County Sheriff's staff who took a chance on something new. Quick names, no one's here. Deputy Gleason, Edwards, Barton, Deputy Koo, community ambassadors, Johnny Howard, Cleo Sowers, and our COs, Demetrius Boyd and Bashir, all stepped into work that, and quite frankly, was not in their job description. They embraced community engagement, programming, neighborhood activation, outreach, and partnership building with the same professionalism and commitment that they bring to public safety every day. Capitol Commons relationships we have built and everything you have heard today would not exist without their hard work, creativity, flexibility, and willingness to believe in the vision. I also want to thank Eric, Peter, Jesse, and Ella for their partnership, guidance, and support through this process, and the entire CAAP board for helping us navigate unfamiliar territory and opening doors for collaboration. To the members of the CAAP board, thank you for believing in us and believing in what, at that time, was just really a work plan and some words written on a paper. I also want to thank our legislative partners whose investment in this effort made it all possible. Their willingness to think differently about public safety and community revitalization gave us the opportunity to try something different. A year ago, none of us knew exactly what this would become. Today we have partnerships, relationships, momentum, and a community space that truly belongs to the neighborhood. I'm incredibly proud of what we've accomplished together and grateful for this opportunity for this work. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And Madam Chair and CAAP Board, I also wanted to recognize and thank Michelle Lichtig, who was the last interviewee, and she's been really great and helpful in helping us connect to the Fitzgerald neighborhood. Really a wonderful partner as well. So, and thank you all for listening to our overview here. And we're excited to come back in the future and tell you more about where this goes over the next 2 years.
Yep. Thank you.
Board, are there any questions, comments?
That was great. It was a great
Thank
update. Yeah, tremendous work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Instructor. Yes,
Just
Ellen.
very quickly, do you have plans or have you already started sharing this story more publicly too? I think it could be a great success story for the press, for the public to really hear about what you're all doing.
I would love to.
Madam Chair, Member Anderson, I think we have not. We could surely use more help with that.
Sure.
You know, that's something Gal's been helping us with, and we do our best with Marco or Matt Hill, who's over in the other room in the Ramsey County Sheriff's Office. We do a lot of promotion through our friends on Facebook, and that's kind of our best bet right now, but we would definitely welcome any help there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Spoken like a true recovering
I
member. Might I suggest that potentially, and we can talk more about this, but that National Night Out might be a great opportunity to really highlight the work that's also been happening here. So just thank you. It's
Thank you.
Incredibly encouraging. That 68% number is going to stick with me, and just these partnerships are so powerful. So
Thank you.
yes. And I think there's an opportunity to continue to tell the story for future leaders who serve in the Capitol to continue to invest in this work. So thank you. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Board.
Great. So I'm grateful that we were able to dig in there, and want to also be respectful of folks' time. So as we are looking at these last two agenda items, would encourage people to be thorough but also brief. So we've got the board action on the Wright Street construction project, and I would hand it over to Peter Muskie and Hyla Mays to kick it off. So welcome, and please proceed.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, board members. Next, we're pleased to bring before the board another update on Rice Street. For that, we have back with us today consultant team lead Hyla Mays of Bolton Mink will present information, and Anna Potter, the project lead from City of St. Paul, will again be available for questions. There will be a detailed presentation, and then board members will be asked to consider a set of design adjustments to the plan you authorized last month. Reminder for the board that the memos of several previous board meetings documents the history of planning and design process for the project. This includes the policy identifying renewal and rebuilding of Rice Street as among the top priorities for the implementation of the Capital Areas 2040 Comprehensive Plan. The memos also outline how the project maintains fidelity with the comp plan, the legislation in 2023 enabling the project. The community design engagement process is profiled in the development of previous design alternatives. Today we'll touch on the timeline and the remaining steps. So invite everyone to visit the information through the links provided for you in the memo for this meeting, which are online. Slide please. Thank you. Next one. Next one. Sorry about that, Jesse. Yep, thank you. In June, the board considered what might be considered as the north-south central design for the entire corridor. Your authorization allowed the team to move confidently towards resolving several design details relative to many of the east-west site access and intersections, which can be tricky in an established corridor. Next. And specifically, that our authorization set in place major elements and allowed the design team to finalize several solutions directly with site owners. Next slide. Today's meeting zeroes in on 6 or 7 design location-specific design adjustments that have been finalized since the 60% approval in June. The memo you have includes a summary of project status, then references attachment A which provides a joint summary for the board developed by the team, agency, and consultant leads to explain details of those items and proposes a direction or authorization for each. HYLA's presentation allows time for questions as we go, or then at the end during discussion. After board questions or discussion, we'll then present a short resolution made of 2 sentences. The first referencing authorization for the specific items in attachment A. Then a general authorization for staff and the team to continue towards a final letter of approval with a direction to return to the board if there are remaining adjustments that merit your attention. The memo also includes a statement, CAAP Board Advisory Committee, from them reaffirming their support. And I have just 3 more important project notes to place on the record. Again, the team's design contract, project management team is managed by Ramsey County and the City of St. Paul Public Works in partnership with CAAP Board, and includes collaboration with partners at Metro Transit on their work developing new BRT stations along Rice. The multi-agency staff team are working with funds initially dispersed through the Department of Transportation to Ramsey County. But the entire project is made possible due to the Office of the Governor and Lieutenant Governor's support of the $25 million provision created and passed by the 2023 Minnesota Legislature. And updates on the project have been and are available in past memos and on our website and the Ramsey County project page if you search on Capital Rice Reconstruction. With that, Hyla, please take it away. Thanks.
Thank you, Peter. And to the chair's point, we will keep these comments on these slides fairly concise. We are covering a lot of ground here, but you already have in front of you a memo which covers in more detail some of these points. We'll move through those quickly so that you have a time to ask questions or look for more details on specific issues of concern. The approved design was shared with you last time, so I will not dwell on that further. Suffice to say, it incorporates a couple years of work and multiple goals for creating a more walkable, livable community here that better serves the residents, as well as the role of the quarter in the regional. Next slide. Design adjustments here. You see this list here. This is from the memo. I'm going to go through each of these step by step. What I would just notice at this slide is that these are all based on the partnerships in this area. As you heard from the Livability Initiative earlier, this area is rich in alternatives, opportunities, and different projects. We are spending a lot of time coordinating to make sure that the sum is greater than the total is greater than some of those parts. Next slide. The first one on the list is the John Ireland Bridge 12th Rice intersection. This is a complicated intersection that has 3 different projects intersecting from different angles. As you well know, the bridge project is underway with goals to be done by the marathon this year. The 12th Street Capital City Bikeway is lagging a bit. Rice is up next. We've had a lot of discussion with this project and with the group here to ensure that this is designed well for all projects. There will be some temporary pavement in place during this year through the bridge project, but it will be finalized during the Rice Street construction next year. Next slide. And I would notice that the proposed board actions are noted on the slides here in general. For the sake of time, I'm going to reiterate them, but they're in your packet, and they are the direction you'll be taking at the end of this presentation. The next one here relates to the transportation access enhancements that are being done to the MnDOT transportation building on this corridor. This is a separate project we've been coordinating with state admin and with MnDOT and others to ensure that the safety and security upgrades made to the site work well with our corridor. This is adding 2 different access points, one for the loading dock and one for the Lot G parking lot, ensuring that they meet compliance standards and work for this corridor. We've had a lot of iterations and discussions to make sure that the placement of these is as good as possible. There are a lot of trade-offs with these locations, but we're feeling confident that it's arriving at the right location so that both needs of the site and the corridor can be met. Next slide. The Sears site, of course, it looms big in this area and certainly is part of the coordination discussion throughout. At this stage, we've been talking to the Rondo Community Land Trust, who are the current stewards of the site, about their future vision. They've shared that you've heard updates on that from past meetings. I'm sure you'll hear in the future. We continue to meet with them to discuss what we can do to meet their needs to ensure that the corridor is as ready as it can be to accommodate them. The most notably, the things that are noted on the slide are ensuring the access points align with the future locations on this corridor into the development site once development is built out. Some enhancement of the corridor, which I'll mention shortly, and ensuring that the Central Avenue median is removed to allow more free turn. That actually has a dual purpose because it also helps the transportation building access loading dock work better. So it was part of the design process as well. Slide. Pedestrian crossing relocation. This, I would have mentioned a little bit, the pop-up we had at Mendad, this area sparked a lot of questions and comments because right now there is, of course, a flashing beacon, RFB, located near Lot X at a crossing point on the south end of the corridor. This project is recommending it moving it closer to Fuller, like relocating the signal so it will be at that location. The original crossing will be maintained, however, it will not have a flasher signal. It will have a one crossing lane in each direction with a median in the middle to have a safer crossing experience. This reflects a better alignment with both design objectives for Metro Transit with the station area placement, this corridor, and where the volumes of pedestrian traffic are greater. We also noticed that the Lot X, which is currently a busy parking lot for people who work here, will eventually be phased out with redevelopment. So, on-street parking on Rice south of Aurora. This discussion also came from our Sears site coordination and reflects the vision that is designed for that site in the future. While the timing of that is uncertain, it has been determined that the frontage along Rice would be probably an active frontage with commercial storefront buildings, or at least that's the goal, and having on-street parking for high turnover for commercial businesses along there would be value added. We're building this into design at this point because there's other implications for that. The parking bays you see highlighted on that graphic would be about roughly 20 spaces total. Details TBD, that might change a bit through the design process, but it would be able to make this corridor a bit more future ready for the future of the west side as we move forward. Slide. Almost done with these. The Aurora Avenue intersection and the coordination with 441 Rice, which is where the Good Neighbor Center operates its after-school program, has been an important consideration. You know, Aurora right now, it's unusually wide. The desire here is to move back to St. Paul City Standard as a street, and of course to reconfigure the driveway access and the access in general in that area to ensure that it still works well for people who are using that property and accessing it. This has required a lot of conversation, a lot of back and forth, a meeting I think as recently as earlier this week, just to have that discussion and ensure that we are taking into account as best we can the needs of that site while also planning for the future of this corridor and ensuring safe pedestrian and other access here. So we are at a point of getting quite close to that, but there's a few details still to be worked out with them. Continue to talk with them to make sure that we're being responsive and even address needs over and above that, such as how they use their site and the safety of the children on the site. Next slide. The final category doesn't have a point in the map per se because it is more generally speaking, and I'm going to look to Anna if she'll want to add comments after this because this does relate to the city standards around streetscape maintenance and maintaining. For the sustainability of this project, we do not want to overpromise what can be delivered in terms of streetscape, what can be maintained in a sustainable manner. So noting that the baseline design will be fairly basic in terms of pavement and streetscape. It'll be a great improvement over what's out there now, but it won't be all the bells and whistles. There are going to be opportunities, and there certainly are, to enhance the streetscape, to upgrade it, to provide additional features, but those will require maintenance partnerships and discussions around issues that you see in the slide. I don't know if Anna, if you wanted to add anything to this.
Thanks, Isla. Yeah, I mean, I think the approach we're taking here is we're setting a good foundation. It's like a canvas for future improvement. We're treating the street like an important commercial corridor. There are opportunities to put enhanced pavement types or materials, and we're building spaces for that, but until we have additional maintenance partners to help us keep that looking great for years to come, we're sort of treating the street in terms of streetscape in the same way that we would our other commercial corridors throughout the city.
Slide. I'm watching the clock here. I know we're short on time. Just noting we had a fantastic pop-up. Thank you for the great idea around that. We had almost 100 attendees in MnDOT's lobby area. I would say very active and interested participants who provide us a lot of very fine-grained insights, especially on the pedestrian, bike, and auto access to the site here. We're going to be using the insights to sort of fine-tune the design around that. We don't anticipate radical changes, but we'll make sure it's right sized and appropriate. So we thank you and thank Midot and others for the hospitality in setting it up. It went very well. We will provide a longer summary if people are interested in terms of the more detail looking at that. You see some of the sticky notes in that picture.
Highlight convention, it's over on the table.
And the layout that was shared in this picture is also available on the table in there if anyone who wants to look at this design in more detail. I don't think I'll go over this timeline for the sake of time. It's largely similar to what you've seen in the past. We can answer questions. And also noting where we are with the design process. Almost at 90% design, with the intent of finalizing this fall, construction this spring. Here you see noting when this group has been involved in the reviews and providing feedback. Next slide. I turn it back over to you, Peter.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The city's in the process of passing a tree ordinance. Is that going to have an impact on what's happening on Rice Street?
Yes, we have taken the tree ordinance guidance and are going to double check our landscape plans and ensure that they are consistent with that, with the guidance in the ordinance.
And we have some funding. The CAAP board has some funding for more trees that I believe this would probably qualify for. I'd have to ask Eric. Maybe we need to expand the language.
We may need to send it back.
I'll make sure that my successor knows. Okay. And Paul Cummings too.
Well, and we'll continue to work with Department Admin on that too.
Yeah.
One thing I should add in applying the ordinance items to this corridor is I think the ramification is going to be that the result will be healthier trees. There will be potentially fewer, but each one of the remaining trees that meet the design requirements of the ordinance will have plenty of great soil to allow them to thrive for years. I want to say that because lots of times when this happens, you go out there on day one and there aren't as many trees, but we're thinking about this as a corridor for decades. Trees are things that are here for decades. They take a lot of time to get to their full potential. And the ordinance really is about creating canopy for years to come and less about a big splashy impact of number of trees, but instead it's about the impact of the full canopy of the trees.
For the series of design pictures you showed, on those along those areas where there are kind of green, the green areas, the circles with the dot in, sometimes they're full circles, sometimes they're almost more like a flower. Can you just explain what those are and why they look different sometimes? You have to go back one more. Yeah, so that's a good example where you get the dot, circle, and then sometimes they're slightly different shapes. Like, what does that mean?
I mean, in terms of those
these?
Yep.
Different tree
Those
types?
are trees.
Those are trees, okay.
Yep.
So in theory, everywhere along these pictures where there are some kind of circle, there's potentially going to be a tree there. Is that right? Okay. And is there some difference? Like the ones that are in that red square are like actual circles, and then some are different shaped. I'm just curious. Is there a reason for that? Is it different kinds of trees or something?
You want me to answer? Different kinds of trees.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Very, very detailed oriented. I like it. Different kinds of trees. This is actually, thanks for bringing this up. So when I mentioned the ordinance, don't count these. These are the numbers that could change because of the ordinance and making sure that we're meeting all of the underlying criteria that's baked into that ordinance. This is giving you a sense of how many trees and what design criteria we thought made sense before the ordinance, when this was created. So, we're going to take another look at this and make sure that it still meets all of that criteria. But this, the look and feel of this. Trees on both sides of the street. There's space for trees at Aurora.
Awesome. Thank you. That's really helpful. Just one last question. So most of them are on what is green space, but in this on the kind of top half, there are a couple where over red. What is that? Is that changing? I'm just curious what that red shape
The hatching
shows.
here?
Yeah.
Like this?
Just north. Yep, exactly.
That would be like hardscape, so either concrete or pavers. Those are areas where we anticipate there being slightly more pedestrian traffic, and so, you know, grasses would get trampled perhaps, you know, it's next to the BRT station. So those are the areas where we have to make a design choice. Do we choose some, we would love to pick a very expensive, glamorous granite or something, but we have a whole city to maintain and we want to make sure this stays looking great. So we usually default to either concrete or pavers to, you know, respect our ability to maintain this, keep it looking good. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Any additional questions?
Can you explain why the ordinance has you do less trees?
It has recommendations on amount of soil per tree.
Okay.
That is more than what we were assuming here.
So it's a cost balance then? Is that what you're saying? Or
Space.
More growth.
More growth?
Healthier.
Yeah.
Bigger
Yeah, more soil per tree means bigger tree, healthier tree.
Okay. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I just wanted to take a moment and also recognize and thank Board Member Ellen Anderson in helping us get the pop-up going. That happened really quick. She was basically headed on vacation, and it still happened, and we had a lot of folks pop in. The commissioner came down, the commissioner's office came down. We got a lot of detailed comments, so really thank you for that. Thanks for the suggestion.
If I can too, I was about to thank you all for doing it, so we're just going around the table thanking each other. But I think bringing a transportation plan into a building of transportation professionals and planners is probably terrifying, and so I appreciate you being willing to do that and having a certain level of conversation with folks who do that every day. I think it was really, really helpful for them to engage with you all. I know, and it says in this too, there are a few kind of access questions that I'm still getting questions about. I'm sure you are still getting questions about that we can continue working through it. I just want to be really clear at this point in this design process, we do still have, you know, there's still an opportunity for us to work through a few of those questions and make sure folks are comfortable with the path forward. And so that is, I was really grateful that you all were willing to come, and I was excited to see how many people were participating, and I saw some folks come in who weren't working in the building too, so I think it was just a really great event, and I'm grateful you were willing to do it and excited for the path forward. The other just note I will mention there too is, again, you have a building of planners. I think there's some general anxiety just about construction timeline, which I think is normal in any project, but when we get to that point, I would love to work with you all to make sure that kind of engagement and communication flow is really smooth so that folks have all of the information they need. I think that would be helpful.
Indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just one quick point on that, I love that we get the pop-up there and cool space to get kind of unique feedback from especially that workforce that's there regularly, but just for future or even other projects, if we, I noticed that one was outside of session and you get a lot more folks during the legislative session, kind of a different cross-section of folks who are there, more visitors. That'd be interesting to see if we could take advantage of that and get some different perspectives as well.
Any other questions from our folks online? Okay, great. Well, thank you so much. Oh, did you?
I was just going to say go to the next slide and we can get right to the resolution.
Peter, would you summarize what is before us?
Yeah,
here in the
thank you.
resolution?
Thank you, Chair. As mentioned earlier, the basic resolution is two parts. The first is reference to direction and authorizations of the items in Attachment A. So the first sentence refers to Attachment A and the guidance proposed there, as Hyla gave an overview around. The second part is an authorization providing that after continued reviews by staff and advisors of CAAP Board for Executive Secretary to sign off on final drawings, returning to the Board should there be remaining changes that merit Board consideration.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the resolution to authorize the Executive Secretary to approve administratively with instruction to return to the Board to review and seek approval where there are changes determined to be substantive? There is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a first and second to approve the resolution to authorize the executive secretary to approve administratively with instruction to return to the board to review and seek approval where there are changes determined to be substantive. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. The motion is approved.
Next slide. Next slide.
Oh, yeah. Great. Thank you so much. And so next up we have item 5, which is an okay. Please, sorry, I'm jumping ahead here. So item 5. Peter and Hyla, if you could just explain to us just the next steps here on the Rice Street project.
Thank you, Chair. And before we did that, we wanted to make sure that we have the public agency team and the consultant team to leave this slide up. It is too numerous to be reading off all of the organizations involved.
Absolutely.
And this does not actually cover all of the organizations involved. But we wanted to make sure that on record, we were thanking the entire team.
This is for Rice Street.
This is just for Rice Street, you know, and this is like the PM, the folks that show up at the PMT meetings. You know, so I think that's on behalf of the city and the county and Bolton Lake.
Teamwork makes the dream work, friends.
Yeah, next slide, please. So what happens next? Really, next immediate step is the release of the 90% drawings set that incorporates many of the decisions today. You can see that in August. We've kind of moved through a few of the remaining steps already. And having said this enables a final review by the CAAP board and approval or return to the board. Having said that, due to the careful work to this point, we don't anticipate major changes. Barring that, and barring a change, we anticipate the drawings to be ready for winter bid process leading to 2027 construction. The fall will entail heavy planning period that will include communication with site owners and businesses to be ready for construction that will continue with a selected contractor up until start in the spring. The advantage of Bolton Mink's selection is that they have been working on Rice Street to the north and will bring those communication mechanisms to bear here in the capital area. We certainly can plan to bring an update on the construction process at the next meeting.
Excellent.
So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Have a seat here, unless you want to see the slides.
Yeah, we'll go ahead. It's all good. Okay. So next up, we have item 5, an update on the Cedar Bridge study over University. Peter Musty and Daniel Kuti will lead us through this. Please introduce yourself and proceed with that.
Thank you, Chair. Today we have Daniel Flitty of Ramsey County with us, and he will introduce himself and overview a study underway looking ahead at the future, maybe near future, of the Cedar Street Bridge over University and Avenue. Next slide. Board members, your memo for this item includes an updated summary attachment A. That is a companion to Mr. Flitty's presentation, and it was created by Daniel to help summarize the status of the study. We are excited to have him here today to help us begin a conversation that's just beginning. There is no action proposed today. Dan, please take it away.
Madam Chairperson, on behalf of Ramsey County, thank you for the opportunity to speak today. Members of the board, advisors, and staff, thank you for your valuable time. My name is Dan Flitty. I'm the Ramsey County Bridge Engineer working in the Public Works Department. I'm responsible for the health, maintenance, planning, and safety of the 65 bridges that connect Ramsey County's nearly 300-mile road network. More importantly, I'm responsible for the public safety while using the county's bridges, which brings us to today's presentation of Bridge 9250. Next slide, please. Today's agenda, we're going to provide some background information, review risk management, we'll give a preliminary project timeline, and we'll end with questions. Next slide, please. Here we have a view of the bridge and the state capitol building from the Cass Gilbert Memorial Park, Cedar Street on top. University Avenue and light rail transit below. Next slide, please. We have a general map of the project area with Bridge 9250 in the center. Orientation landmarks include the state capitol southwest of the bridge and the power plant southeast of the bridge. Cedar Street, owned by the city of St. Paul, runs north-south over the bridge. University Avenue, owned by Ramsey County, runs east-west under the bridge. And Green Line LRT, owned by Metro Transit, also runs east-west under the bridge. Next slide, please. The bridge was built in 1922. It is a filled concrete spandrel arch, which means it has soil fill above the arch's top. The bridge is not eligible for the National Register, but given its location, it is a very high profile and important piece and function of the Capitol campus. The bridge is not load posted, which means all vehicles less than 40 tons, which is the federal legal limit, can cross the bridge. MnDOT has inspection report cards, which grades the various elements of each bridge. Starts at 9, excellent, and down to 0, which is fail. The superstructure, which is the arch itself, is in fair condition. The substructure, the abutments which support the arch, also in fair condition. Fair condition is defined. Some moderate defects, strength and performance of the component are not affected. The overall bridge ratings of good, fair, and poor. This bridge has an overall rating of fair. Next slide, please. In 1995, the bridge was evaluated for historical status, and again in 2023, and found not eligible under the following: criteria A, event; criteria B, person; and criteria C, design and construction. Next slide, please. The bridge's age, condition, and location is why we're here today. At 104 years old, the bridge is in fair condition, but is a few years from being downgraded to poor, which will happen and will require replacement or substantial rehabilitation work. We can't stress this enough. Decision and action cannot be delayed. This is also why I'm here today, to reinforce the county's commitment to study and act on the bridge. Both replacement and rehabilitation options require long-term closures, some much longer and substantially more involved than others. Cedar Street above, approximately 2,600 cars per day. University Avenue below, 7,000 cars per day. And Green Line LRT below, 155 trips per day. Both replacement and rehabilitation options require significant planning. Rehabilitation lasts for about 30 years, and then this process is repeated again. The existing bridge will then be about 140 years old. A new bridge has a minimum 75-year service life. The goal is we want to have a plan in place before the bridge reaches poor condition. Next slide, please. I will be the county's project manager during the work. One of the methods used in managing projects is using risk management. Risk management is a proactive process of identifying, assessing, and prioritizing liabilities that could negatively impact the project. For this bridge, risks include age, agencies, bridge type, condition, and location, all of which are very high risks and will act collectively. The goal is to minimize and manage liabilities and improve success by putting strategies in place to accept, avoid, reduce, and share risks. Though there are many high risks to the project, we want to emphasize the bridge is not an immediate risk of failure. As part of a 6-year timeline, we just started the feasibility study. The study will review and develop feasible options, conceptual costs, environmental and regulatory compliance, historic importance, scope, and technical viability. Next slide, please. We concluded the presentation with a project timeline. Prior to the feasibility study, I completed initial discussions with about a dozen local agencies, which has led me to the board today. The feasibility study just started. The county is excited to announce our consulting team of TKDA and LHB, who will complete the study in October 2027. 2027-28, the county to form an internal team to develop the project. This time allows for local agencies to process and act on the study's recommendations. Also in 28-29, we will begin looking at funding sources and how and when to best place this project into the needs of the county's transportation program. A very high opinion of probable cost, $30 million all in. 2028-29, a consultant develops preliminary construction plans, considered a very detailed proof of concept. 2029-30, a consultant develops final construction plans, cost estimates, and specifications. The county then advertises for construction. 2031-32, construction. If reused, the bridge would be 110 years old. Next slide, please. Madam Chairperson, this concludes my presentation for Bridge 9250. Thank you to the chairperson, board, advisors, and staff for your attention to today's discussion. I will now be able to answer a few questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Flitty. Does any board members have any questions? Senator Pack.
I'm sorry, you were talking kind of fast.
Yeah.
I know our time is short, but you said something about $30 million. Is
Yes.
that estimated cost for rehab or replacement?
Both. Either
The
option.
cost about the same?
About the same. Yeah.
Any other questions?
Just a follow-up, and then you said an extended time period?
Yes.
The road and the light rail would have to be shut
Correct,
down?
correct.
Do you have any estimate on extended time period with that?
Roadway above, at least the full construction season, if not more. University Avenue, likely the same. LRT, to be determined, but likely at times that will be upwards of 6 to 8 weeks, depending on how a bridge is removed and then how a new bridge is constructed.
So an entire summer?
Correct, yep, yep. And that's one of the agencies that we have contacted before is Metro Transit.
That would have been my question as well, Senator. Any other questions? I appreciate this, your update, and I know this will be a significant project. We look forward to reviewing the feasibility study in October 2027. But thank you, Mr. Flitty,
Great, thanks for your time.
for your presentation. Mr. Yeah.
Madam Chair, thank you. In the interest of time, the other projects memo is in your board packet, and I'm happy to have a conversation about that anytime. And I also will send out a memo update to the board, inviting Daniel back to the next meeting for us to continue discussions and make sure everybody's up to speed on this. But if you have any questions on the other projects memo or any other work CAAP Board is working on, I'm available to have a conversation after. But in the interest of time, we can move right to adjournment if that works.
Excellent. Are there any final comments, questions from board members? I would just say thank you so much to the CAAP board, to Ramsey County, to all of our incredible partners. This has been a very hopeful meeting, and I think with things as they are, we don't always have things that we get to be hopeful about. And so cross-jurisdictional work, commitments, as you said, people doing other job or other duties as assigned, right, and maybe stepping outside of their comfort zone, becoming documentarians, filmmakers, right? This is just it gives me a lot of hope, and I'm just proud of all of this work. And Executive Secretary, thank you for your good leadership as well. So thanks so much, folks, and we are adjourned.